The story I'm about to tell is a simple one. My partner and I crossed the street from our apartment to the taqueria. The details are more complicated, and I often have a hard time telling the story of our life together because it can feel like I'm telling her story and not my own. And that's in part because during our relationship, my partner, Cara, transitioned. And I will say she and her throughout. But the story is also hard for me to tell because I worry that I failed her. I was still in my 20s when we met. And it's now been just over 7 years since she died, but Cara was my witness for 20 years. Cara was funny and had a brilliant mind. She could quote Fanny Bryce, "I'm a bagel on a plate of onion rolls," as easily as Wallace Stevens and James Baldwin. And she turned heads. And once you looked, she turned on the charm. We met in a bar. She sat down next to me and asked if I had a light. It was such a cheesy line, but it worked. We dated. We eventually moved in together to build a life with each other. So fast forward a little more than a decade, I would now be in my 40s. I decided I wanted to go to law school. So we talked about which cities we were both willing to live in so I could go to school. And then together, we uprooted our lives and moved to begin the next chapter. It was about a month into my first semester of law school when Cara told me she was going to transition. I don't remember the phrase she used, but she was telling me she was a woman. I had a million emotions in that moment, but I was not confused. I understood what she was telling me. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it was the force of a truth. Our life changed in big ways and small. Small, in the coming months, I would find press-on nails with the fancy French tips everywhere. In the silverware drawer by the remote, in the refrigerator, and gay as I am, never did I predict that for my life. And as life changed in bigger ways, I didn't always know what to do or say. I knew nothing about transitioning. And I looked to her too much to teach me when she was trying to learn everything herself. And so when she first started transitioning, my instinct was to be at home. So I would study at home rather than at school. And my desk was positioned in such a way that when she walked in, she could tell instantly if I was home. And so some days, she would just give me a quick wave, and that was it. But too often, once she closed the door, she would crumple to the floor, sobbing. And that broke my heart to witness, yet she found the strength to try again the next day. And so then, not long after she had gender-affirming surgeries, I came home from school and she was standing in the living room and she excitedly said, "Look!" And with that, she dropped her robe to reveal the tiniest pink bikini I have ever seen. And this was a moment that she had probably been looking forward to forever. And my response was, "My eyes, my eyes!" We had already laughed between us about me being 100% gay, so she saw it for the joke that it was. But I could have celebrated or even acknowledged the moment with respect rather than make some stupid joke. Like when we crossed the street to go to the taqueria. We had been going to this taqueria for over a month already. The owner was very friendly with us, but this time would be the first time we were going as Patrick and Cara. And we were nervous. When we walked in, the owner, she smiled and welcomed us like she had every other time. And in fact, she greeted Cara as though she had always known her as Cara. And then she complimented Cara on her earrings. And that was such a quietly perfect way to acknowledge everything was different, but as it was supposed to be. And I would try to remember that, because even though our love had changed, I never stopped loving her.